What up everyone, Clayton here, and today we're here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the possible location for the next Elder Scrolls game. This is the location where I believe the game will take place. We don't have any information about the game's location, so this is going to be my own opinion and where I think the game will be located. If you have any other things to say, or maybe your own opinion, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I will in the future talk more about different locations, but right now we're going to talk about the one that I think the games could take place, which is the Aldmeri Dominion. In future games, I believe that the scale or the size of the locations you'll be able to explore is bigger, so I think the whole of the Aldmeri Dominion could possibly be the game's location. If you guys do not know, the Aldmeri Dominion is kind of the combined forces of the Somerset Isles, which is home of the High Elves, Valenwood, which is home of the Wood Elves, and elsewhere, home of the Khajiits. The reason why I think this could be a possible location is because there's a lot of conflict, and also they were meant to be kind of the big bad guys in my eyes of Skyrim. But before that, let's go ahead and talk about what the Dominion really is. The Aldmeri Dominion, which is governed by the Thalmor. You see the Thalmor in Skyrim trying to enforce the White Golden Concordat, where they banned Talos worship. The main purpose of the Thalmor and Aldmeri Dominion is to gain back the ruling of Tamriel. They kind of want to rule Tamriel in the name of the elves. The Empire, which has ruled Tamriel for a while now, and is finally starting to break down, were ran by men or human races. The elves, especially the high elves, think of themselves as superior to the human races and don't believe they are fit to control Tamriel, and it's time for the elves to take back the lands that they lost long ago in rebellions from the men. So that's what the whole goal of the Thalmor and the Aldmeri Dominion is to take back their lands. And they've tried to do this with the Great War. They've even tried to invade Hammerfell to get portions of Hammerfell as well. So there's definitely conflict here. So how did these, these three different nations come together to become the Aldmeri Dominion? Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll get into it here. So anyways, after the Oblivion's Gates shut, after the events of Oblivion, the game, the Somerset Isles gave control of the government to the Thalmor, which, like I said, are radical elves who believe that they're superior and to kick out all the men races or the human races. Anyways, in Valenwood, there was sympathizers of the Thalmor who overthrew the Empire because the Empire was weak. So they tossed the Empire out and became part of the Aldmeri Dominion. And for the Khajiits, the only reason why they joined is because in Nirn, there's two moons. And the moons are very essential to Khajiit lifestyle. Without the moons, there's really no Khajiit race. And for 2 years, I believe, the moons disappeared from Nirn. The two moons, Sunkinda and Masser, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those right. But anyways, they disappeared. And like I said, without the moons, there's no Khajiit culture. And the Thalmor told them that eventually the moons will be brought back, and they brought the moons back. So when the moons came back and Khajiit culture could continue, they kind of praised the Thalmor and the High Elves for, bringing the moons back so they could have their life again. So they've joined the Aldmeri Dominion because of this. There has been rumors, though, that this was just a trick, that they knew that the moons were going to disappear for some, astrological event, and they knew they were going to come back on this date, and they said, we brought them back now. This also could be a rumor untrue, and they actually did bring the moon back because they are, the High Elves are really involved in magic, and dawn magic, which could have brought the moons back. But this could be also a conflict here. If the Khajiits find out that the Aldmeri Dominion was lying, they could eventually turn on the Aldmeri Dominion, and there could be conflict here. I've been talking about a lot about conflict, and I believe that's kind of like a really important thing to have in an Elder Scrolls game. If you think about Skyrim, had the Civil War going on, you had to fight against the Thalmor, and you had the dragons, the big bad guys. I also think the Thalmor are kind of the big bad guys, or the most scariest of enemies in Skyrim, since they could possibly take over the world. But yeah, they're kind of the big bad guys, and there's conflict here. You kind of need a bad guy and conflict. And In the Aldmeri Dominion, there's definitely conflict, because there's people who disagree with the Thalmor, but usually they just get murdered. For example, in the main storyline of Skyrim, a wood elf named Melbourne talked about how his family was killed by the Aldmeri Dominion and the Thalmor, because they did not agree with them, and they just murdered hundreds of wood elves. If this becomes more well known and more wood elves turn on the Thalmor, there could also be internal conflict inside the Aldmeri Dominion. And I think that's what the game that I'm envisioning will really be focused about, which is the Aldmeri Dominion and their either expansion through Tamriel or their destruction from conflict within itself. Because you can't really kill your people if you're trying to control them and make them fight for you. So that's why I believe this game will take place here, as well as these are 3 locations that are very diverse, as well as diverse cultures. You have different landscapes, and elsewhere you have deserts and tropical lands, and in Valenwood it's pretty much only forest, since the Wood Elves cannot destroy the forest because of the Green Pact. And the Somerset Isles is 2 islands that you can maybe boat from back and forth between the mainland of Tamriel, as well as boat back to Somerset Isles. And I think with the next-gen consoles, or the current-gen consoles you could say, they could definitely do this on console. I know PC players are like, who cares about the consoles? But as consoles advance, they'll have bigger and bigger games, because they have to sell them for both consoles and PC, and they can't add more on PC and leave the console people out because they'll lose money. And they can't add more on PC and leave the console people out because they'll lose money. So anyways, this is where I think the game will take place. Just a little bit of rundown of why. Aldmeri Dominion has conflict. They have the big bad guy of the previous game, and there's 3 diverse places they could possibly explore. Other locations could possibly fit, and I'll be talking about them in future videos. But I'm not really much of a public speaker, so hopefully these were you could understand what I'm trying to say, as well as they're kind of okay to watch. So yeah, if you enjoy this, please make sure to leave a like so I know you enjoy it, because that's the only kind of way I know if you guys like these videos, is to leave a like. I'm not trying to beg for anything, I just kind of want to make content you guys enjoy, and that's the only way I can really gauge your enjoyment. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to leave your comments down below of what you think the game will take place. So yeah, see you guys in the next one.